talk about the impact on exchange rate, Mr. Steinman, how high will the cycle go?
How must I know?
You have all the answers.
Elsie, there's a certain paradox. You heard what I've just said in our previous session, is that over a 20-25 year period, interest rates have gradually declined, coming down to the 7-8% level where they are today, or more or less. But 2 weeks ago, the Bank of Namibia increased the interest rate by 0.25 percentage points. Now, do you hear the paradox?
Yeah.
I'm saying they're coming down. The Bank of Namibia says they're not coming down, they're going up. That is because the interest rates, the repo rate in South Africa was raised to 7% on the 29th of April. And that is a full half a percentage point, 0.5% was it raised, which is in that size economy is a fairly drastic move. You know, you can see the very careful approach that the Bank of Namibia is following with this 0.25%, quarter percentage point increase, which I think is much safer. So that one first see what is the impact on the broader economy, because remember, interest rates have an impact on everything in the economy, everything. So the important thing for us to consider, if we look at the cycle, we talk about interest rates in cycles, so it's like a sinus curve, Can you tell the listeners I'm making a snake-like movement with my finger here? So they go up and they come down, and they go up and they come down. Only when there is something extraordinary, like COVID, or like the international worldwide recession in 2009, or the dot-com bubble that burst in 2001. Only then do the interest rates diverge from this fairly regular pattern. The ideal would be to keep the amplitude of that curve relatively small. In other words, a relatively flat curve. That when you are in the upward cycle, you don't increase the repo rate by more than 2 percentage points at the most. Preferably only 1 or 1.5%. And when you're in the downward cycle, when you need to relax the liquidity in the economy a little bit, you go down 1%, maybe 1.5%. So that is ideal. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. Every now and then you get the calamities, of which I've mentioned 3, and then you get these huge spikes in the interest rate movement, and it is the safeguard or the guardian of our currency, the Bank of Namibia. It is their responsibility, after you had a major impact like that, to sort of even it out over a number of years, not immediately. COVID was a huge shock on the economy, and the interest rates, I think, came down to 3% or something. Very, very low. If the bank would have adjusted it in 2021 to 13, 14, 15% above the average, that would have constituted a second shock in the economy. So you have to overcome this shock in the economy. You have to maintain liquidity. In 2017, liquidity in Namibia was so bad it was negative at one point. So you have to make provision for that you can't really see the effect of in advance. And that's why I say, why I'm very glad that we only moved the interest rate a quarter percentage point. It is safe, and it sort of takes into consideration the effect of the visible, the measurable effect of what you will see in terms of local liquidity. If you ask me, how long is the cycle, or how will the cycle go? We are at 6.25% now. South Africa is at 7%. To a very large extent, it depends on what they do. If they go to 7.5%, we will be forced to go to 7.25 at least. So it's 0.5% higher. And I don't think that's nothing. That on a typical $1 million home loan, that makes about a $6,000 a month, $600 a month difference. So it is not insubstantial. The big unknown is the value of the US dollar. And it is the stated policy of the Trump administration to bring the value down to support inward investment into technology and industry in the US market. And if you look at what's been happening over the last 18 months since Mr. Trump became president, you could see that gradual decline in the dollar value. Now again, you need to be aware of the relative size of everything. If the South African rand deteriorates 2% in exchange value, external value, the exchange rate, it's no big deal. If the US dollar deteriorates 2%, it is a very, very big deal. So that also has to happen very gradually, very carefully. I almost want to say with a finger on the button to stop or release or stop dead all the time. But that is what will determine that cycle, and that cycle will probably run another 18 months, where we will see 2 more increases, and then we will see a relatively stable period, and then only after that I suspect, will we see a gradual decline. But I could be wrong. Remember, this is the future.
Yes.
And we could start pumping gas, oil, end of next year. Then our currency is going to appreciate, boom, like you won't believe it.
Yeah.
Interest rates are going to come down. But that scenario, I personally think is more a 7, 8, 10 year scenario.
Wow, on that note, we unfortunately have to say goodbye. Thank you so much, Mr. Steinman. And of course, thank you to our listeners. If you want to listen to previous talks, you can, of course, go to economist.com.na. Economist.com.na also gives you an update on what is currently happening in the economy of the Republic of Namibia. So keep it posted and just keep listening and keep tuning in to Energy 100 FM. From me, Elsa Vinyani, and from Mr. Steinman and team, we say goodbye.